Hi, it's 1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version on Xbox. And after looking at the time and cost of transporting my vet to Cubio, I decided to do the 1v1 in my Faz. It was a good test run for the Faz, and I thought it would be a fun fight. I did consider getting my Anaconda out, but I decided now just to do it in my Faz. It asked for a fight with the Faz. I did want to do a fight 1v1 in bigs. I don't tend to like taking on bigs in mediums. Especially shieldless Fazes, that's not really what they're designed to do. But, you know, I did so well in the little preamble we had before Scooby dropped in, I thought, I'll do that again. Unfortunately, when we got going on the 1v1, I did connect with him a few times, had a few ram incidents that I wasn't really paying attention for, and also had a harder time with orbiting his middle. I wasn't quite fully clued in. I was chatting away to Scooby and I was having good fun, and I was hitting a decent amount of plasmatic shots. It's making me happy. I've got chaff and I had a dispersible target lock breaker, and so I was having some fun even though I was ramming way too often. That probably cost me quite dearly in this one, but yeah, I was trying to stay close and orbit tight in to make it difficult for him in the big ship, and obviously I got a bit too close a couple of times. It is quite difficult to focus on everything going on. Can't believe I missed a vet a couple of times, but you know, with me with Plasmax anything's possible. And I've got to say, if you're going to build one of these, 2 efficient, 2 short range blaster, a thermal conduit on 3 of them and target lock breaker on the other one is pretty handy. The Plasmax do a decent amount of damage, and my opponents seem to be banking quite a lot, which is good to see. And I thought I was doing a reasonable job in this one. I think overall I did a reasonable job, considering this is still an experimental ship. As you can see from the speed, it's a typical me build. It's very chunky, it's very heavy. That lack of maneuverability cost me in close. I may switch the experimental effect from double brace to dirty drives, give myself a bit more speed. I do have B-rated thrusters, so I probably don't need to go fully down the route of B-rated and double braced. It hasn't the best jump range in the world, but it's solid and it's a tank. And you know, like I say, I actually need to do all the experimental effects on all the armor and the hull, so I don't actually have the amount of hull that I will eventually have on this thing. I will probably increase the hull quite significantly with the experimental effects, and also it'll make a difference to some of the resistances, though they wouldn't have mattered here because I'm up against multi-cannons and corrosive. There was a couple of weird things that happened in this fight, like here, where which ship is his? I was really confused as to what was going on because there seemed to be 2 of him for a moment. There was a couple of instances in the fight that freaked me out where it appeared like his ship was in 2 different places at once, and it was like, well, I better deal with the one shooting at me. That's probably him. And there was another time when I thought his shields had gone down and then they were back up again. You'll see it looks like they shimmer and burst but then come back up immediately, and I'm like, okay, maybe that was a timing thing with a bank. It like registered the bank, but then like the shields of the animation look like they're dropped. I did run out of range a couple of times just to do some reloads on chaff, and then the other time I went out just to sort out my AFMU and get it running on my canopy. I actually remembered I have a auto maintenance unit, which is an amazing achievement for me. I've got one on my dropship but I never used it, so I put it on my assault ship and at least I remembered to use it in this fight. I must admit, it was really nice to remember that I did have the facility to repair my canopy when I started to hear it crack. It's vital when you're running a shieldless ship. The idea of this ship, what I've actually built it for, is sneaking up people, following people around, and then launching devastating surprise attacks on them. Maybe say a station outside it waiting for somebody, that sort of thing. It's not like that sort of thing happens anymore, but I still build ships with these crazy ideas from 2 or 3 years ago when the game was at its peak and we were doing that sort of shenanigans. But you never know, there might be a PPI thing going on where I get to do that to somebody, and it's always quite good fun when you sneak up behind someone, they don't know you're there, and then suddenly you open up on them and they panic a bit, especially when you're using big damaging weapons like the plasmas. And yeah, I was hitting a decent amount of shots. Yeah, I'm going to against the vet, it's a big target, but yeah, I was very happy with the way this fight was going. I'd lost a little bit too much hull on collisions, but overall it was a good 1v1. It lasted a decent amount of time, so I managed to hang in there. Meanwhile, Scooby was complaining in my ear because this happened to him. He saw a commander, finally saw it empty. The input dropped into low space before Scooby got there, and when Scooby dropped in to find him, the guy vanished just as Scooby found him in the instance. Now, that's one of those ones where it's probably a menu, exits the menu, which he probably started exiting when there was no one in the instance with him, which is perfectly fine, people are allowed to do that. And it's just unfortunate timing when Scooby drops in. You can see that big lag spike there, but yeah, oop, not there. So, don't know. Bit of a mysterious one because the way it goes, hyperdrive engaged just before they vanish, but you can't tell with the taking no damage and that sort of thing, and that big lag spike looks kind of weird. But yeah, that was the closest Scooby got to finding him while I was sat in here fighting this. But yeah, and again, I've got 2 radar contacts. It kept doing this to me in this fight, just weird things. But I want to actually see that thing with the shields again, because it's coming up soon, and it was really weird, because like I say, it looked like his shields went down and then his shields were back up. And I don't think it would have made any difference to the outcome of the fight, to be honest, because at this point I'm just sort of trying to get those shields down as my aim, but I've only got 37% hull left. I gotta avoid any more collisions. My chaff is malfunctioning, which is not ideal. I can only use the target lock breaker now to keep those weapons from me. Al did give me a good tip, which is when your chaff malfunctions, put some pips in the systems and it sometimes comes back on. Honestly, I hadn't heard that one before, but yeah, apparently if you put some power into systems, something that's malfunctioning may come back on for a moment. But unfortunately, soon my chaff will be on the point of malfunctioning, and yeah, I'm reliant on that target lock breaker, which, you know, is having to do a lot of heavy lifting in this fight. I actually want you to watch the next segment coming up. I'm going to play it at normal speed. I'm playing this quite fast, but I'm going to watch this next bit at normal speed, because his shield, it's really weird. I've never seen this happen before. His shields go down, I get the message saying his shields have gone down, and then his shields are back and he's banking again, which was really disheartening. You can actually hear me say to Scooby, I got his shields down. Scooby chuckles, and then I'm like, oh no, they're back, and he's like, huh? And I have never, in all my time playing Elite Dangerous, seen this happen, or never had the message shields down come through and then shields back up. It must have been a, well, let me know what you think in the comments down below. It was really freaked me out, but it was quite funny.
Huh. Huh. So don't forget to record it, but no. No, yes.
Now, obviously, that whatever it was with the shields didn't make any difference to the overall result of the fight. I just would have broken through his shields a little quicker. I do eventually break them down, and the final bit of flying, I would say I do a much better job in the last bits than I did in the earlier bits, but at this point everything's malfunctioning. I've only got, I said to Scooby, I didn't even have ammo to win this fight, so, you know, I wasn't particularly worried. I mean, what have I got? Yeah, I haven't got, one of my plasmax seems to be firing that often. I think that's me not tilting my nose up high enough, but yeah, I was definitely like, not gonna get through that hole with this amount of ammo, and I'm done. So I would have liked to go out with a ram, but you know, sometimes you don't get what you want. Anyway, that's all. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.